Let's be real. In the fast food world, the drive-thru is more than just a convenience. It's a battlefield, a race against the clock where every single second counts. Getting those orders right and out the door at lightning speed, that's how you win. So today, we're going to crack open the playbook for the tool designed to give you that edge, the HME ZOOM timer.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to set the stage and talk about the drive-thru speed game itself. Then, we'll introduce you to the Zoom system. We're going to take it apart piece by piece, the hardware, the software, the whole shebang. We'll see how it turns a bunch of numbers into a real strategy. And hey, stick around, because at the end, we're even digging into the fine print every owner needs to see.
Before we dive into any of the tech, let's just get on the same page. This isn't just about shuffling cars along. This is a live-action performance game. The clock is literally your opponent. Every car pulling up is a new play. And your efficiency, that's how you put points on the board.
So let me ask you this, because it's the question every single manager has to answer every single day. How long is too long? 30 seconds, a minute, 3 minutes? Whatever number you land on, that defines your customer's entire experience. It's everything. You know, to win any game, you have to know the score. And in the drive-thru, your score is called total time, or OTD. It's the big one. This is the single most important number the Zoom system is built for, tracking that complete customer journey from the second they roll in to the second they drive off. Okay, so if total time is the score, then you can think of the HME ZOOM system as your performance co-pilot. It's the thing that stops you from just guessing how you're doing and starts feeding you the hard data you need to actually coach your team and make those game-winning calls on the fly. In a nutshell, this is what it does. It measures everything, collects it all, stores it, and then puts it up on a screen for you. It's all about turning a chaotic stream of raw numbers into a picture of your performance that actually makes sense. So how does it physically do all that? To get it, we're going to break down the hardware using a pretty simple idea. Just think of a whole system, like a person. It's got senses, it's got a brain to think, and it's got a face to communicate. First up are the senses, the nervous system. That's this guy, the timer signal processor, or TSP. This box is hooked up to detectors in the lane, and its whole job is to feel when a car is there. A car pulls up, and bang, the TSP sends a signal, just like your nerves telling your brain you've touched something. And where does that signal go? Straight to the brain, of course. This is the control unit. This is where all the magic happens. It takes all those little signals from the TSP, calculates the time, stores everything, and basically manages this huge database of every car that comes through. And hey, what good is a brain if it can't tell you what it's thinking? That's where the face comes in, the monitor. It shows you the dashboard, which is basically a live look inside the brain's calculations, turning all that data into something you and your crew can understand in a split second. And here's where you see it all come together in the real world. From the moment a car hits that first sensor, all the way to the menu, the cashier and pickup, the nervous system, the brain, and the face are all working together, perfectly in sync, to track and show you that car's entire journey. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we've seen the physical body. Now let's talk about the intelligence inside, the software. This is what actually makes sense of all those seconds and turns a bunch of boring signals into a tool you can actually use. So really, it all boils down to this simple 4-step loop that just repeats all day long. A car shows up, the TSP sends an alert, the control unit does the math, and boom, it pops up on your screen instantly. This happens hundreds, maybe even thousands of times a day without you lifting a finger. And what you're seeing on that dashboard is so much more than just a fancy stopwatch. You're getting live times for every car at every station, running averages, how many cars are in line right now, graphs showing your trends, even a little animated map of your drive-thru. It's your entire operation on one screen. Now this right here is what it's all about. This is the transformation. You start with this mountain of raw data, all these complicated menus and numbers, and the system's true power is turning all of that into this, a clean, simple dashboard that anyone on your crew can look at and understand immediately. Okay, seeing the data in real time is great, but winning the game, that means turning that information into action. This is where the Zoom system goes from being just a monitor to being a real coaching tool that helps you get better. Right, you can't hit a target you haven't even set. So the very first step is to decide what winning actually looks like for your store. You can go in and set specific time goals for every single part of the process. Menu board, payment, pickup, you name it. It creates a clear benchmark for everyone to shoot for. So once you have your goals, you need to see how you're doing. And these reports are your diagnostic tools. The summary gives you the big picture. Comparison lets you see if you're getting better, comparing this Tuesday to last Tuesday. Excess is huge. It flags every single car that took too long, so you can see exactly where the problems are. But the inactivity report? That's where you find the hidden slowdowns. It shows you when nothing is happening. Imagine seeing there's a 30-second gap at the pickup window every day at noon. That report doesn't just give you data, it makes you ask why. And that's how you really start to improve.
Now, to get the diagnosis right, you gotta slice the data in the right way. The system lets you do that in two key ways: by day parts and by shifts. Day parts are all about the meal: breakfast, lunch, dinner. They can't overlap. But shifts are all about the people, your morning crew versus your night crew, and those can overlap. Getting this difference is so crucial for figuring out exactly when and who you need to focus your coaching on.
All right, we have covered the what and the how. Now let's just talk for a second about something that's super easy to skip over, but honestly, it's absolutely critical for every owner to get: the fine print.
So here's the bottom line from the end user license agreement, the EULA. You are not actually buying the Zoom software. What you're doing is buying the hardware, and that purchase gives you a license to use the software that comes on it. The key thing to remember is that the two are a single integrated product. You can't separate them.
And look, they are not messing around. The manual puts this right there in all caps, making it crystal clear: if you use the device, you agree to their terms. It's a legal agreement that kicks in the moment you power that system on.
So let's bring it all home. The HME ZOOM system, it's way more than just a timer. It's a full-on diagnostic tool. It gives you the eyes to see what's really going on in your drive-thru, the data to understand why it's happening, and the tools you need to make it better. It turns that chaotic rush into a game you can actually manage and, most importantly, win.
And all this really leaves us with one final thought to take with you. Once you have a tool that lets you see and measure every single second of your operation, the question isn't just, how fast are we anymore? The real question becomes, what story is our data telling us about our customers, about our crew, and about our business?